Hey, thanks for stopping by Apple's Art Studio. I'm Apples. These parrots are my studio helpers, Harley and Ringo. Welcome to my art studio channel. I create many different items with polymer clay. Let me help you on your polymer clay journey. Let's learn together. All the information needed can be found in the description below.
Now it's time to do some silk screening so we can put our peacock feathers all around our jar. Now I'm only going to do 3, and I'm actually going to set them at an angle. I want the peacock feathers to set right in between the 2 little ridges here that I used some copper clay on and did a texture sheet on it to make the ridges, and then I put a little bit of copper mica powder on it so it just brings it up. Also, I want you to see how thin my translucent clay is. In fact, it's going to tear right off of there. This is rolled out to a number 8. Okay, I already have 2 of the feathers on the jar. And you can see I just put them at angles. Excuse me. And you're going to be careful. Try not to get air bubbles trapped underneath there. So I've got one more to put on here, and I did find out the hard way that it's much easier to cut out the shape while it's still down here on your work surface and just pick up the clay, the translucent, really thin sheet. Once it's cut out. Now the first one, I didn't cut it out as close, so needless to say I had to cut it out while it was on the jar, which wasn't impossible, but cutting it out first is much easier. You don't have as a hard a time getting your sticky translucent off of your sticky clay on the jar. And I want to cut that off right there. And that off right there. And there's a little piece right there. Okay. See how thin that is? You just got to be careful. And you don't have to put your design leaves on a piece of translucent first. Or on a piece of translucent at all, you can silk screen your design onto your clay that you put down on your jar. And I'll show you that as we go along, because I've already done one of these with a purples and teals and things that we think more of peacock colors. Just work out your air bubbles, because we know that translucents can really create air bubbles and plaquing. So we want to get them out as much as possible. If you see a place like I saw here that was going to overlap, so I needed to cut something off still, I didn't press that part down as hard, so I could go in and cut this part off. We can't get this off here. Okay, I have all my rhinestones on my feathers here, and they're all been put on in the UV light. They're set, and this is ready to bake. Now, I decided to put around the lid, I have those little cutter things, and I believe Tiny Pandora still is giving these sets of these little, we're using them as polymer clay cutters, but I think she's giving sets free as long as she has them when you order them in her, order something in her store. But a long time ago, I was working on a steampunk piece, and I thought, you know, it'd be really cool to have some foil covered pieces on it to make screws and stuff on steampunk. And I did those in gold. And since then, when I have a piece of scrap clay, I take my cutters and just cut out circles. And then I put them on pieces. And I saw Donna Cato do the same thing, because I hadn't done it very often. But I have all sorts of the gold leaf, or the leafing, in different colors. And so I thought, you know, I'm just going to make a bunch of scrap clay and go through and make circles, so when I need them, I'll have them. And I've got them in all different colors, and I just keep them to where I can use them. Now that's what I want to do. I've already put my GemPutty all the way around here, and these bicone beads, that's where that's going. But I wanted to get some decoration on these sides before I actually put the beads on. And these aren't going to be as large, but I still want to put some on with some liquid clay. It's not necessary, it's raw clay to raw clay, but I just don't want to squish down the circles I've cut out. I want them to remain three-dimensional. And I'm just going to dab some liquid clay going around here, because with these bicone beads on here, I don't need anything that's really large. So while I'm picking up some pieces and put them on here, I want to do some circles. I'm doing the copper so it'll match my copper bands on my jar. I just want to say, especially working on 2 of these at a time, it's taken a minute or 2 or 3 actually to get these done. So give yourself time. It's not hard. It is time consuming, but it's relaxing and you get to create all the way through it. You know, you get to choose what you put where and how much of it and stuff. And they're really fun to do, and jars are free. You know, get them out of your kitchen. One of these I think was an olive jar, and the other one I think may have been a pickle jar. I'm not quite sure. But just save your jars. There's different sizes, and they're free, and you can decorate them, and I love decorating them. What are you going to use them for? Well, one of the things that I use them for is when I give somebody a gift, no matter what it is, I can put it in a jar and gift them the jar as well. So it's like a box already to be gifted. And let me see if I can't get some of these little ones out down here. You know, you can put spices or, you know, I make my own taco seasoning and stuff. And you can just put your taco seasoning in a, you know, warm colored jar. This one right here would be a perfect jar to put taco stuff in. Let me get this beading on here, and then I'll come back and see if after that's on, if I need to add any more onto that. These are the little bicone beads. I strung them on beading wire, and I believe I'm going to leave them on the wire. We'll see how good of a connection I get. And I've got a little more of the GemPutty on here than I did on the purple lid, because these bicone beads are a little bit larger. So I'm just going to set them up here. And I don't consider this jar as fancy as the purple one. I didn't intend for it to be that way. So, it's still blingy. It's got some blingy stuff on it. It's still shiny. So it's still like a bling jar, and it's pretty, but it's, to me, it's not as fancy, I guess, as the other purple and teal jar. But it's a cool jar. I'm just pressing my beads in. I'm trying to get them right on the edge of where it curves down, and not so much on the top edge. and they are bakeable in an oven, but they cure with a UV light. So you can put them on a piece like this that's not baked. It's raw clay, and both of them are bakeable. And it looks like I'm a few beads short. I had these strung once and didn't have a little hook on one end of one. And they go flying everywhere. And I'm working on a glass surface with a hardwood floor. So hard tell them where they are. I guess I'll find them when I sweep. So let me get these down here. And I've got enough wire on either end to get my little tweezers. What did I do with them? There they are. I'll just take that wire out of there and string a couple on there. I know 3 of them hit the hardwood floor, and I looked for them and I couldn't find them. So that was just a snake of GemPutty put on around there. Let me get those beads. I only need like 2 or 3. So yeah, there went another one on the hardwood floor. Let's see where we are. Okay, we're fine. That's enough. I didn't need the one that dropped. Okay, we'll line these up. And we'll take and I think it needs something right up here. And I'm not quite sure what that needs to be. Let's look real quick. I think orange would work quite well. Okay, I'm going back to my gem sticky for this. I'll get a little bit of gem sticky. Put it right there. So make you up some sheets. Just take scrap clay and cover it. Okay, let me get my little pan to set this on. Make sure all my beads are lined up. My little orange stone needs to sit straight. There we go. The purple jar, it's finished. It's got the bling everywhere. The lid, I put rhinestones going around the edge, which is over top of that stamp I used to give it some texture. And then that little bit of purple mica powder I put on there. That's the top of it. And there's my signature. That's my little apple stamp. Always sign your work. You never know where it's going to end up. It may end up in a museum somewhere one day. So let's make sure that we've got it all signed so you'll know who did it. So that one's done. So these both will be baked, and they're primos, so it'll be 275, and nothing is really thick, so I'm only going to bake them for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. Then everything will be done. I'm anxious to see what happens with the translucent clay. I'm hoping it just gives that foggy shadow effect, but we'll see. So let's get this out. This should be done now. Now that's all the longer it takes. It's done. And I'll get this. Okay. Here's this one. There's the lid. Our orange stone's hooked on. Our bicones are hooked on. I may cut out some smaller circles and put around there a little bit more. But then I'm going to go back and check everything, make sure all the air pockets are gone, make sure all my beads are on, and make sure everything's done before I bake them. So let me get all that done and get them baked, and I'll show you the final project. Just wanted to show you the jars after they're baked, and this has DeepShine on it. And let me come in a little bit close, because you can barely see the translucent clay, and it depends on what color it's on. Over here on the red, you can barely see it at all. But this is what the top turned out to be. And I love the little beads going around. I love the little copper accents everywhere. Because remember, we did the silk screen in copper. So I really like that and like the way it turned out. this one. Of course, these are my collars. And I really like this one too. This has DeepShine on it. DeepShine is a UV brush-on resin that you can get at tinypandora.com. And this was a filigree that I put a turquoise color Inca gold on. And this is the cup chain going around it. And the rhinestones on it. And it all has DeepShine on it. Don't forget to go back and look. I just put up 3 videos of using the same silk screen and did 3 different types of trinket dishes and 3 different techniques on them. So look for those too. So thanks for watching. Leave comments. Let Ringo know you were here and watched. I'll tell him, I promise.